Now, I know what you guys are gonna say. Yes, this might be my 13th or 14th Orcus video on this channel. I've kind of lost count by now. And yes, I might just be making it for the sole purpose of showing off my pretty new rarities. But in my defense, it is true. Orcus has received a brand new buff thanks to the latest ban list. It might be a small buff, but I figured it was significant enough where I could use it as an excuse to fuel my crippling addiction. So, without further ado, let's go check it out. So here's today's deck list. But before we get into the deck list, just a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this kind of content or see some more videos or more deck lists from me in the future, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel down below. Alright, let's get into this deck list. So today's deck list is obviously going to be your Zombie Orcus Flora. So what exactly has changed from the latest ban list that has impacted this archetype? Well, as you guys might know, Beatrice has been changed from a limit 3 all the way down to a limit 1. Which for standard Orcus builds might sound kind of bad because it competes with the field spell, but in the Zombie Orcus variation, we're playing Zombie World anyway, so we're not even worrying about the Orcus field spell, meaning there is not a single limit 1 card in this entire archetype that it was competing with, so completely unaffected. Also, because of how this deck's turn 1 setup is, we don't run the standard Fleur limit 1 cards like the level 9 Wind Monster, whatever it's called. We're not even playing that in this archetype, so there is literally nothing competing with this card other than maybe Super Poly if you were playing that before, but I didn't even really like Super Poly that much in this archetype anyway, so I wasn't playing it, and this competes with literally nothing. And because it's changed from a limit 3 down to a limit 1, we just got given a brand new limit 3 slot for the archetype, which is fantastic, because it means we can play things like, of course, Book of Eclipse, fantastic board breaker, in combination with the 3 droplets I've already got, a fantastic card we could play, or we can play something like an extra copy of Harp, just so we have an extra normal summon in the deck list, because Harp is a 1-card combo with the deck list, making this deck go from 10 1-card combos to 11 1-cards. Or we can play something like Armageddon Knight, which is the card I've been leaning towards the most with this archetype, because this thing obviously has access to the Orcus cards or the zombie cards. It's fantastic going first, it's fantastic going second, and it's also one of the few normal summons that is not weak to Effect Veiler, because you can normal summon it, and normally your combo gets disrupted by Effect Veiler hitting the copy plant, which would be really annoying. But in this variation, if you use your Armageddon Knight, we can actually go down the Orcus line even after getting hit by an Effect Veiler, so we still end on a fairly decent end field. So I'm leaning more towards this card, but if you don't own it, you can play something like Book of Eclipse, you can play an extra copy of Harp Horror, whatever you like, just some limit 3 card that is making this deck list feel a little bit better than it was before. Now, as for the rest of the deck list, you've seen all these cards before, and if you haven't, don't worry, you'll see it plenty during the gameplay, including the 1-card combo setup that you do for this deck list. So without further ado, let me just show you what this shit can do. Alright, today I've got 6 replays to share with you guys, all of which were taken from inside a Legend during a 16 win and 3 loss run I had with this archetype, which is a pretty impressive win rate for Orcus in current year, especially considering one of those losses was literally me just clicking yes too many times during my opening turn and completely screwing over my combo by accidentally banishing the wrong zombie monster with Gazuki and just screwing up my whole turn for no reason. So I had a lot of fun with this deck list. I feel like it's a really strong archetype, especially on the ladder, especially considering that now Book of Eclipse has gone down in play rate slightly with it being nerfed in the Star Seraph archetype, so this deck is certainly stronger than it was, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy these replays, so let's jump into it. Alright, so fair warning, if you're a Blue Eyes player, you might want to avert your eyes for some of these replays, because I reckon most of them were actually just bullying Blue Eyes players. I think 3 of the 6 replays are just flat out shitting on Blue Eyes. So, alright. I also think most of these replays are going second as well. Going second feels probably stronger than going first with this deck sometimes. Alright. So up against an archetype that actually doesn't care too much about me opening Droplet. Droplet's mostly just in here for Lyrilisk. Droplet does not a whole lot. Doesn't really do much against this archetype. It stops it drawing a couple of cards. They don't typically end on much outside just a shit ton of back row. Which thankfully isn't often going to be a Book of Eclipse anymore, because they can only play like 1 copy if they want to do that. to compete with their main Inart type monster now. Alright, so he's going to do some drawing, blah blah blah, setting 3, as you do, and my turn starts. So starting off with a droplet to negate this, so he doesn't draw cards off the scale. Then we'll use our Fluid to pop some back row. Unfortunately, hitting an MST and getting fat baited. But now we can go into our negate for potentially the back row. So summoning out our Chevalier de Fleur. We even get a nice little animation for this. So the cool thing about summoning Chevalier de Fleur in this deck is once you have those two monsters on the field, if your opponent doesn't respond, you can just activate your skill and just place the monster on the field, and your opponent gets no chance to respond to anything after you've done your skill activation, so your opponent can't respond to skills, obviously. So a lot of the time, you can just put this thing on the field, and your opponent gets no chance to respond to it before the negate is actually live. Alright. Opponent uses Book of Eclipse, just so I'll say this archetype can't really play it anymore. Then chains Needle Sealing. I don't know why he did it in this order. I think if he did the reverse order here, it would have been a lot better, actually, but anyway. Alright. So, grabbing my Koi Plant. Haven't used my normal summon yet, so just go normal summon, send a card to grave. Yeah, and he's just already conceded. So that's a pretty good example of just playing through a ton of back row without even using a normal summon yet. That was literally played through 3 different back row cards without using a normal summon. Absolutely crazy. I even need to use the second part of my skill to put a level 8 on the field. Alright, up against Blue Eyes. Once again, going second. And this matchup is hard farmed by that Chevalier. So opponent's going to do very typically Blue Eyesy sort of stuff. I don't know how many back row ends on. He might only end on the 1. Can't quite remember. Alright, yeah, we've seen these animations before. Battle Chronicle, grabbing his Ultimate Fusion. Or setting 2 and passing. Oh, sorry, making Dingirsu as well. Alright. So, as soon as the turn passes over, as soon as I get an opportunity to activate my skill, from here onwards, my opponent has literally cannot respond to anything I'm doing until my negate hits the field. He can't do anything. During the draw phase, he could have responded by hitting the Necrofleur, I'm pretty sure, because I think it's during the draw phase. But basically after that, he can't respond to anything I'm doing. I can just place my stuff on the field, get out my Synchro, and yeah, he can't stop me doing it. Smash Chevalier, and now I have my negate live before my opponent could use any of that back row. Yeah, this card might suck going first, but going second it is crazy. Alright. So my Scowl, sending the zombie to the grave, making a Nightmare Phoenix, discard the Orcust. Pop some back row, Dingirsu, gotta be protecting. Doesn't matter, we'll just try and discard cards out of our hand. Make our Nightmare, discarding the Necro. So now, even if he survives the turn, we actually just happen to have the full zombie combo in Graveyard anyway, so we can go for the full zombie blaze. But of course, we can just do our Orcus stuff here, and yeah, we haven't even used our negate yet. Galatea gonna be grabbing our Trap card, making our really pretty rarity Dingirsu. Non-target removal, negating the spell card. And he is dead as hell. Alright, first of many Blue Eyes getting bullied in this video. Alright, moving on. Yeah, the entire extra deck for this deck is just tech cards for going second. It feels really weird, because most of the time, obviously, you can, you want to play your tech cards in the main deck, because that's where most of the stronger, like, Book of Eclipses, Droplets, all that kind of stuff is. With archetypes like this one, with how the skill works, you can play so much just back row, anti-whatever, just in your extra deck. And you have access to it permanently. Alright, so normal summoning out my Armageddon Knight. Crucially, normally with this combo, because it's using level 4, putting level 2 on the field to make a Beatrice. Make your Splendid Rose, summons out the Koi Plant, copies it. So crucial here with this combo, normally if your opponent has an Effect Veiler, they can just Effect Veiler this and my entire turn will be dead. But because we're using the Armageddon Knight, we actually got to send the Orcus Tarp Horror to the graveyard early for this combo, which is great, because it means if we get Effect Faded on this, I could still summon out the Harp Horror and still go for some sort of Orcus line at least. Alright, but in this case, we now make our Beatrice and go for our standard combo. So Beatrice sending our zombie to the grave, Harp Horror going to be summoning the Orcust. Alright, using the skill to shuffle it out to put the Orcust in grave. Alright, milling the wand, 1 revive. These two become the Galatea. Galatea shuffles back in, grabbing us the trap card. Making ding. Attaching, giving us our zombie world. Then, during the opponent's turn, dumping the other zombie, making this immune. Also, small tip here, you want to use the Beatrice's effect first all the time, because if your opponent is stupid enough to have something like a droplet or a chalice or something to try to negate the Beatrice effect for whatever reason, this has actually happened a couple of times during my time playing this deck, you can then chain the Orchestrated Core and banish the Beatrice so it dodges the droplet or dodges the chalice or whatever else, and you still send the zombie to the graveyard, so little tip there. Alright, very clever, this guy using Forbidden Lance on his Time Thief, so it's no longer a zombie, meaning we can't negate it with Doom King. This guy actually got to make quite a lot of plays for someone under Zombie World. At this point, I'm not even going to bother trying to negate anything, I'm just going to let him just do whatever he likes, then negate his Xyzes, or banish his Xyzes. Tries to go for Raiders Knight, we're obviously going to banish that. He doesn't even bother keep playing. Alright. I probably should have explained that end board a little bit better for you guys that haven't seen it before. So basically you end on your zombie in the middle, which is a negate and a banish. You have your Dingirsu on the field, which is just protection from destruction effects for everything. And we have the trap card on the field that makes the Dingirsu completely untargetable for the turn, which is really useful against decks like Sky Striker or something that likes to rely on targeting effects a lot. You just have an untargetable Ding, makes it really hard to kill you unless your opponent has like a Droplet or a Book of Eclipse. So, fairly formidable end field. Alright, I think most of the fun for this deck for me is definitely going second. Alright, up against a Rocket. Alright. Wait for him to do his summon, blah 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 blah. Alright, and passes it over. So notice, I've only got, actually I did draw a 1 tech card, never mind. I was going to say something there, but never mind. Alright, Sausage is going to be popping the Borreload, I'm going to take it for myself. Making Dingirsu. Non-target sends a graveyard. And he's already conceding. It was that easy to break that field. That guy didn't even, yeah, that guy did not stand a chance. We didn't even need to normal summon until, yeah, after we've already cleaned his board up. So real quick replay there, but I wanted to show off at least this deck beating meta art types when I face them, since Dragon Link is basically the best deck in the game, or top 2 decks in the game right now. I didn't face very many Lyrilists, sadly, because Lyrilisk is obviously like the deck to beat sometimes, especially for this deck, so would like to have faced a few more of them, but got to dodge them on the ladder. And we're back with the bullying Blue Eyes. Alright, so Bingo Machine, of course, going to be grabbing a Blue Eyes monster. Normal summoning, grabbing his Successor Soul, before setting a couple back row and passing. So once again, before doing anything, we're now going to try to pop some back row. He's going to remove the Necro Fleur, which is fine, we don't really care. Revolution, and now we can just make our negate. It's just that easy. Who needs Baron de Fleur anyway when we've got Chevalier? Alright, summoning my Bulb. Grabbing our Koei Plant for the, I don't know, just have an extra card in hand for discarding or whatever else. Popping the back row, just gonna negate it. And yeah, he's just dead as hell here because we can just summon out the Bulb, make our Nightmare. I don't think have we even normal summoned yet? I can't remember if I've normal summoned yet. I don't even know if I have. Either way, he got completely shit on. Oh yeah, I normal summon the harp, which then I could just go for August combo afterwards as well. Alright. Final replay, and this one was up against Sky Strike, and this was a bit of a banger replay. I also misplayed slightly towards the end, but I also had like 30 seconds on the timer, so I was trying to play fairly quickly. Alright, another going first replay. So Sky Strike is pretty terrifying, actually. So normal summoning our zombie, putting our level 2 on the field. These two make your Beatrice. Or make your level 6, summon your thing, then make your Beatrice. Beatrice sends the one you're missing, in this case sending the harp, because you've already got a zombie in the grave. So there should be about 11 stars in this deck list, or 10 stars if you're not playing the new Limit 3 and you're playing Eclipse instead. It's a very consistent deck now. Alright, summoning back, these two become your Galatea. Galatea shuffling back in, grabbing the trap card if it wasn't already in my hand, because of course it is. Alright, Evening Star, very important versus Striker. Don't put it in this zone, because obviously their new spell card can remove things without destroying it if you put them in the extra monster zone, so don't put it there against Striker. Normally you put it there versus everything else, because you want to have the free slot to try to trigger zombie effects for your zombie dude, or just so you can go into elite monsters and stuff a lot easier without having to... Yeah, to get this in the graveyard a lot easier, so then you can revive it with Harp and all that kind of stuff. So normally you put this guy up here, but against Sky Striker, you want it in these zones. Alright, we're just going to be dumping the zombie. Orchestrated Horror, going to be making this untargetable. So now my field is completely indestructible thanks to the Dingirsu, and because Dingirsu can't be targeted, obviously the Striker can't negate it. Which is a very big deal. Thank God I didn't have the negate in hand to chain to the Orchestrated Core. So using Ray's effect, we are of course going to negate that. I think he's playing Psychic Blade. Alright, uses the negate. Oh, sorry, uses the engage first, sorry. Hey, this guy actually had 3 engages on this turn. Oh my god, is that a... Okay, he's pimped out his deck a little bit. So Kagri being used, I'm gonna Boulder Rock. He's gonna make this thing immune rather than just negating the Boulder Rock with the negate he has in hand. But anyway, I was just gonna ban the Sky Striker anyway, so sure. Engaging once again. My god, this guy had so many engages. 3 engages used in one turn. Alright, goes to... I don't know why... okay, anyway. For the record, he can't negate this, so all these destruction effects he's just using because he kind of has to. But I don't know why he didn't steal this earlier, just so he could not get his dude banished here. Because this thing's targetable, just this one isn't. Alright, he's going to steal my 2 monsters. Then make a Nightmare Unicorn, pretty desperate, just to remove the field spell, I believe. We're going to Droplet to stop that, so I get my zombie back. He can't even beat over it. Does get to add some stuff back at the end of the turn, though, which is a little scary. Alright, we hit a Sausage. Orcus going to be summoning out. Basically, I was just trying to trigger zombie effects to use the Boulder Rock. Again, chooses not to negate this for some reason, because now I'm just going to banish what I thought was the final Ray in his deck. Currently, if you look at DLM and look at his tournament results and KZ Cup results and stuff, 75% of Striker players only play 2 copies of Ray. So I thought the game was basically just won here once I banished the second Ray. Turns out, when I looked at his deck list afterwards, he was playing a 3rd Ray, but I thought from here I had the game won, so yeah. Alright, clearing up my field to make a Nightmare Unicorn. Trying to force out the negate, which is fine, because we now summon back the ding with the skeleton. And remove this from the field. Alright, we can even do a little bit of life point damage on this card too. Slight mistake here, I clogged up my slots so I couldn't revive my zombie this turn. Slight mistake, I had no reason to summon this thing. But I did have like under 15 seconds left on the timer or something at this point. Psychic Blade. Alright, Boldrock being resummoned, these two become the Phoenix. At this point, I should have removed the field spell. I don't know why I didn't. Because this thing was gonna get removed anyway, thanks to the Boldrock. He actually had a chance here to draw that final Sky Striker in his deck, and if he drew it, he could have hit me directly and killed me. Keep in mind though, at this point, I thought he didn't even have one in his deck, but I 100% should have removed this on the previous turn to not give him the out. But it's fine, because he drew a Kaiju of all things. The one card he can't place on the field for his field spell. Alright, and that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.